In part 2 of The Planet Traveler, we'll visit St. Raymond, a now defunct church in the town of Amboy. We will search for clues as to what happened here and why they no longer have mass. And maybe we'll even find answers to the meaning of life. So let's get started. Fresh off the heels of exploring Roy's Motel, after lunch, I decided to march across the street and explore St. Raymond's Church, which is located directly behind Amboy's tiny post office. Much to my surprise, I learned that the church was dedicated in 1951. Before entering the structure, I decided to do a walk around the perimeter of the building. It appeared that most of the doors and windows had been boarded up. It was apparent that the church was not very big. It didn't take long to circle the building. My contact at Roy's Diner advised me that he would leave the front door unlocked, which was a good thing because that was the only way I was going to get in unless I wanted to break and enter. Let's go. I took a few minutes to admire the mural. I was working to interpret the story the mural was trying to tell. I then made my way to the pulpit where I discovered a Bible. I glanced at some scriptures and then worked to determine how old the Bible was.
Man, the print is really small. There's no way I'd be able to read this Bible. I cannot see it. Here I am thinking this Bible was from the 1950s. It was printed in 2016. What a disappointment.
I discovered a room in the back. I moved to investigate. There wasn't much back there with the exception of multiple podiums that hadn't been used in years. Making my way out, I headed back towards the back of the room. Something had caught my eye.
I was wondering what this is. Do you guys know what this is? You guys probably know what it is. But I'm not Catholic, so I didn't know what this is. But now, I do. This is where they give confession. All I know is you better be a skinny priest if you're taking someone's confession, because look how small this booth is. I mean, I could sit in there or kneel in there, but it wouldn't be very comfortable.
Done with confession, I noticed that there was a second level. I grew curious and made my way upstairs. I moved towards the closet-like room where I discovered some spray-painted graffiti on the walls. I pondered its meaning. Staring at the ceiling, I thought about how this would make a nice home for some lucky pigeons, although it was clear they hadn't discovered it yet because there was no trace of bird poop anywhere. Before leaving, I took one last look at the beautiful mural. And so I left the church and headed for the structure next door. I suspected that was where the pastor lived. The house was in worse shape than the church. The floor was destroyed and every window was blown out. The ceiling was no better. I made a half-hearted attempt to do my part to make the place a little better than it was when I got there. There was nothing of interest in the kitchen, so I quickly passed on. This room had a great view of the steeple. I took a moment to admire it, but there wasn't much else to see. I must say, the bathroom hosted the most creative form of expression. The back room didn't have much to offer in the form of interest, with the exception of the bathroom, of course. The sink and shower were filthy. The shower, on the other hand, hosted another creative quote. Finished exploring the house, I made my way out the back door. I still had one more structure to explore. As I make my way towards the structure, if you are enjoying this video, please consider subscribing for more awesome videos just like this one. And don't stop there. Please like and share this video so it can get more views. I appreciate it. Now, I didn't know much about this complex, but I surmised that this is where they held Sunday school. I noticed a piano in the corner and gravitated towards it. Curious if it still worked, I touched the key. And, for some strange reason, I felt compelled to pull up a chair, like I was about to seriously play. And in a matter of a few seconds, I had composed a masterpiece, despite the piano being out of tune.
So, to wrap this up, do I think St. Raymond's Church is haunted? No. Instead, what I think is it's just a lonely church, and it needs people to fellowship. But before you can fellowship, you need a priest. So if there's any priests out there looking for a home, St. Raymond, they need a priest. Of course, the church needs a lot of work. But if you find yourself in Amboy and you're looking for something to do, make sure you stop by St. Raymond's Church and Amboy gas station and cafe. Well worth your time. Good job.